to Pemberley Farm. Well, what are we doing this morning? We are canning tomatoes in the winter. That is why I'm dressed like I am, because you don't want to get tomato stains all over your good clothes. So this is regular farm clothing for around here, so just overlook that, but I don't want to get tomato stains on my good clothes. So anyway, but yes, we are canning tomatoes in the winter. Now, we did a couple of videos, a year or more ago, because it's been a long time since we uploaded a video. We did 2 videos about an experiment with tomatoes and how you can easily do tomatoes as far as taking the skins off. And so we did an experiment. We did the first one where we did the process, we put them in the freezer, and then the second video shows us peeling them after that. So what I want you to do is go look at those videos and you'll understand the complete process. We're not going to go through that today. So that's what we're doing. We are canning tomatoes. You can, I don't know if you can see, this pot is basically full. We've got water heating in the big canner here, this big enamel canner. You water bath tomatoes, and this big enamel canner holds 9 quarts. And we can everything in quarts because pints are a waste of lids, because we usually use a quart of tomatoes, if not 2, depending on what we're doing. So anyway, so that's what we do. We've got our jars set up here, and I wanted to tell you that if you have any questions about canning, this is the book for you. This is the Complete Guide to Home Canning. It's a USDA book, and so if you've got that and the Ball Blue book, but this is the one I go to most of the time anymore, and so you can get this on Amazon. You can print it off yourself, but the book itself from Amazon is not that much, so I would say go to that. All right, this sink was full of bags of tomatoes like this, and we took them out yesterday evening. They are not completely thawed. This is still kind of solid in the middle, but you see, you just peel the skin off. It's really easy. And so put them over in the bowl, and then we'll put it over in Amelia's sleepy. But anyway, we'll put it over in the bowl, and it's that pot is heating up. See how simple that is? So to see the whole process of how to make it this easy for you, like I said, Ashley will link those 2 videos. Go to them, and when we get a little further along, we'll come back and show you what we're doing. We're back. Our tomatoes are hot. Our water is hot. We've got the rack sitting up on the canner. And so what we're going to do, we've got our jars ready to go, and we are putting. Now you can put like a teaspoon of salt in a quart jar. I've got to where I don't salt anything when I can. The salt does not preserve it. It just gives it flavor. The one thing I am going to add, and I should have added it in the bottom, but that's okay. I'm going to add some citric acid, because you can never know anymore if your tomatoes are, a high acid tomato or not, because they've monkeyed around with tomatoes so much that you just don't know anymore. Alright, I'm going ahead and adding the citric acid. You see, it's just Ball citric acid. You can get it in the canning department at Walmart or wherever you shop. And I'm doing half a teaspoon per quart. And Amelia's happy. Alright, so I'm going ahead, I'm going to fill them all of these. And you don't need to watch me fill every one of these. We'll stop for now and come back when they're all full, and I'll show you the next step. Okay, so now we're debubbling. because these are mostly crushed. They're not, but you just want to make sure you don't have any air bubbles down in there. Got an inch headspace. And the lids and rings are soaking in hot water, not boiling water, just hot water. They say, Ball says you don't have to do that anymore, but I just feel a little more comfortable if the compound has been heated up a little bit. So anyway, so then you just wipe off the rims of every jar, because you don't want there to be anything between the compound, the sealing compound, and the rim of the jar. And I move my rag around because I've seen people that use do the very same spot on like 9 jars, and I can't see that because if there was something on one of them. So I just kind of move my rag around to make sure I have a clean spot that I'm wiping. See, that one had some on there. Okay, I made a mess on this one. Okay, and the last one. All right. All right, now I'm going to take my lids and rings. I'm going to put them on the tomatoes, finger tight. You're not going to crank them down hard, just finger tight. Now, it may look like I'm tightening a little more than, but I have absolutely no strength in my hands. And so, you know, I had to even get them finger tight. It looks like I'm doing more than is reality. So that's what we're doing. Now let me go ahead while we're doing this and I'll show you. Did you show them in here, Ash? Okay. All right, this is the rack. This is an old rack. They don't make them this good anymore, unfortunately. But so what I'm fixing to do is put these jars in this rack. And then we're going to lower it down into the hot water. Some jars are bigger than other jars. I don't know if you've discovered that, but some are more thin. Okay, so let me go back and finish putting the lids on these, and then we will put them in, put the lid on, turn the water back up. The water's very hot already. But because the tomatoes are not rolling boil and I can touch the jars, I didn't want the water that they drop down in to be quite as hot. The rolling cannon is hot jar into hot water, cold jar into cold water. You don't want shock. All right, and so because I'm not strong enough to let those down, we'll turn it off here and Ashley is going to drop them down gently into the water. So we've dropped it down into the hot water, and I can't get that one to let it go down. Anyway, we will get the lid, put the lid on it. They need to be covered between 1 to 2 inches with water over the top of the jar. You have to have them covered. This isn't pressure canning, so they have to be covered. Okay? And something that you may run into that we did, if you don't have enough water in your canner to begin with, you need to always have boiling water, hot water on the side ready to go in so you can add more to it once you get the jars in there. All right, so then we're going to cover it up. We're going to we've already turned the heat back up, and we will start timing for 45 minutes once it is starting a boil. Okay, it's done. And what we did after it quit processing for 45 minutes, we let it sit for a few minutes with the lid kind of cracked off of it. And now we're fixing to bring it out and put it over here on these towels. We got us a new helper. Alrighty. Whoops, that's okay. Alrighty. Now we're going to let them sit and cool off just a little bit, and then we're going to put them over here on this cloth and let them sit for probably close to 24 hours, and they will seal. And once they are sealed, I'll take the bands off. I'll wash them in warm soapy water, the jars, and then I'll mark them as to what they are and when they were done, and then we will put them on the shelf, and they'll be good for a long time. So thank you for joining us here at Pemberley Farm, canning tomatoes in the winter time. Be sure to like, subscribe, and share our videos, and don't forget to check us out on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. We are Pemberley Farm Homestead. Thank you so much for watching, and God bless you from Pemberley Farm.
Are you helping Grandmommy? You gonna say hi?